This is Nate Giuliano, and I'm part of the Denver Church. I want to share about what it's like to live a day in my life. I live with excruciating pain on a daily basis. Pain that takes my breath away, that can last days and weeks at a time. It's been a thorn in my side that I've often prayed for God to take away. Living with intense daily pain brings many unique challenges. Aside from having to manage the pain when it's present, my life has become a constant budget meeting that never ends, where my currency is pain-free moments. These moments for me personally are very expensive, very rare, and are easily lost. What's more, it's very difficult to earn. As a result, I've learned to guard it with much more intensity than the next person. Every action in my day has to be calculated. Every action has a cost. From walking up and down the steps, how many times should I do that? Getting up for a snack, I cannot afford to do that every time that I want to grab one. If I have to put a dish away down to a lower shelf where I need to bend, I need to check my budget and see if I can afford it right then. Have I moved too much already? If I have and I push it, how many pain-free days is it going to cost me? Often, the minimum price of going over my threshold is unfortunately a week. When I'm in an episode of pain, it's often unknown how it was spurred on, how long it will be, and what I need to do to stop it. It can be something that I ate that triggered it. It could be the weather. It could be clothing that's slightly too heavy. Sometimes it just doesn't have any reason that I can see. What's difficult to accept is the uneven relationship between the trigger and the resulting pain. It's easy to justify the degree of pain with the intensity of the trigger. Like a huge punch will make sense to give someone a huge headache. But many times, in my case, my most painful pains can be triggered by something so trivial, like stepping in a slightly different angle can cause a ripple effect that will give me unbearable full body pain. But these things have given me tons of lessons. And trying to look at these things in that way helps. I've learned to trust the relationships that I have, that they can withstand repeated broken plans in the last minute. I can't plan things too far ahead since I don't know how I'll be. And even with most care, it's still not as solid as I'd like it to be. I've learned to cherish these relationships that I've built, that God has built around me. Relationships that understand that my decision to decline an invitation to spend time together is not meant to hurt feelings. As a matter of fact, these cherished relationships often, in turn, ask to see if there's something they can do for me instead. I've needed to accept that people are willing to love me, despite how broken I am physically, and I didn't need to earn it. It's a humbling experience to accept people's love in those terms. I've had to be patient, many times unreasonably patient and forgiving with myself. I've learned to give myself limits on what I can and cannot do. There have been many situations when I needed to say no to events, important events, baptisms, relationship building events, dinners, where for most people it's a no-brainer to go. You're just there sitting or eating or hanging out. But for me, not so much. Any little thing that is beyond what I can do will trigger episodes and cost me days and weeks of pain-free currency. I had to be okay with saying no and trust that my decision is for the best. What I've learned, and my most treasured lesson, is the most unexpected. In what I see as my darkest hour, a different door opened. I've been suffering for weeks on the floor, unable to move an inch, just waiting for the pain to quit and go away. It felt like getting beat up by a bigger, stronger, better fighter. And the only time this unrelenting foe was going to quit was when he got tired. And when I felt like this foe, his energy waning, and he was about to ease up and quit, another fresh opponent comes right in, takes his turn, and starts his turn on my beating. In the middle of that hopelessness, what opened was a door that wanted to just find God. I thought that he was gone for so long, that he's abandoned me. But in the middle of that desert, I found a yearning to see, a desire to see God's face. The pain, still there, it didn't matter. I still felt it. I still wanted it gone, but I wanted to be closer to God more. Nothing was hindering that desire. There are many things that pain can teach, right and wrong. It's a constant battle for truth. It can get you inward focused. It establishes new rules that doesn't necessarily make sense. For now, I want to keep learning how to manage my day as I wait for doctors to find some sort of cure. For now, I will learn to love more deeply the friends that I've been blessed to have. That includes my immediate family, my wife, my children. For now, I will learn to be patient and forgiving to myself when I have to do things that I feel is less manly. Surprisingly, this pain has helped me find a deeper yearning with my relationship with God. A desire that doesn't settle for what I have, but continually look for a deeper one. That's where I currently am. And you know what? As I read, I'm reminded of what God has done with Jesus. It gives me constant confidence to keep desiring. Because as much as I've desired to be close with him, actually, he has desired to love me first. It just seems appropriate to respond in kind.